Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the season premiere of Outcast, Bad Penny. And I have mixed reactions to this episode, not because of really the episode itself. It's been 2 years since the first season, and I kind of forgot what was going on before this, but I still remembered some things. But it was just such a giant lag time, and I'm like, okay, that's going to be the biggest issue getting back into this. But I kind of liked how we got back into it and set up, even though it was kind of strange. Because when we last saw Kyle and his daughter Amber, they were surrounded by other possessed people, and then they've made the decision to return to Rome, Virginia, and continue going on there. So he's essentially got it that the Sheriff Giles has his wife looking after Kyle's sister Megan and her daughter Holly, and is going to look after Amber while they try and figure out what's going on in town. So Kyle goes off to find Reverend Anderson, and he's there at Sydney's trailer, and he's like, yeah, I burnt this down myself. And Kyle's kind of pissed off because he needs Sydney to figure out more about what's going on. Reverend Anderson wanted to think that killing Sydney would have been the end-all be-all of the kind of stuff, but we don't know exactly the nature of what's going on with these demonic possessions. Kyle can somehow stop them in their infant stages and send them back, and he's somehow important to the demons, but that's about the extent that they've got. Sydney obviously knows more, and they need to find him to kind of figure out the rest of the puzzle pieces, what's going on. While this is going on, Giles was called into a break into a diner and was unable to catch this demonically possessed person, and that led to a really kind of gross scene with like barbed wire. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, as he's escaping, and he escapes from Giles, and he's trying to figure out the extent of this because there's a lot more people involved than he knew, and he kind of wants to get in on it as well and stop what's going on. And I really like him as a character. He's kind of knows shit kind of dude. I mean, he does have people skills, but when he knows something's going on, he's the kind of police chief that's going to get to the bottom of it. And I just like the way he does it and how he like interacts with people. Because we see that he tries to get the mayor to give him the resources to catch this guy because he knows it's more dangerous than the mayor does. And the mayor's like, screw that, no. And tells him to watch out because Reverend Anderson pushed people's buttons and got cast out as well. So he's got to play this kind of waiting game. So he goes off and he's got to deal with the burnt down trailer as well. He tells his subordinates not to call the state police. They have found a body, and it's the son of the woman Patricia that Reverend Anderson's been going out with. And instead of telling her, he just decides to help her put up flyers and everything to find out everything that's going on with her son's disappearance. So that was kind of shitty. So he also tries to kind of like do his own kind of sleuthing around, and he finds this beacon place. And he kind of goes in to kind of see what's going on. It's kind of this informal church. But the thing is, Kyle was also referenced as being a beacon to these entities. So I wonder if this is going to be connected with it as well. Reverend Anderson kind of stayed in there for a little bit and decided to leave. And this one woman is going, oh yeah, what decided to bring you out here today? He gets a little bit more information about how it's informal and all that. But it seems just kind of weird at the moment. It seems kind of culty, so they didn't have an adverse reaction to him there, but that could be because they might be trying to get him as a host. So we'll have to see how that pans out. He does eventually go to Giles and turns himself in for killing the son of Patricia. He's like, damn it, And Giles gives him every chance to stop saying what the fuck he is saying. But Reverend Anderson feels that he has to atone for this. So the biggest kind of part is they're able to track down the person that was possessed, and we find out that it is the father of the first person that we saw in the first season, Joshua. And Kyle and Reverend Anderson went there before Reverend Anderson turned himself in, and they talk with Joshua, and he says that his parents don't want him to talk about it, and because they've been acting funny as well. We find out that the mother and the father are possessed, and this kind of fight ensues. Granted, I wasn't able to see it all because I think my HDR messes with it, and it got so dark because when they got the information that all these people were chained up and possessed, and one of them was missing, Joshua's father, he went to the fire chief who killed himself because his possessed wife left him, but he was able to give the information. Even in that scene, I didn't know exactly what was going on because of how dark it was, but I'm like, oh, he's got a gun, he's gonna kill himself, and then with this scene, it was the same thing, but I'm like, I can't see what's going on, so I might have to mess with certain things, but I'm like, why is it so friggin' dark? But Kyle's in this fight for his life, but he doesn't have the ability to cast out the demon in this. And, of course, Giles is involved, and somebody shoots the guy. And, of course, the wife is freaking out, and she says, at a certain point, when they get to a certain oneness with the host, he can't cast them back out. They're stuck there. And I'm like, stuck there? That's interesting. So that's kind of where that ends off. The mother and Joshua leave off. Kyle has to deal with what's going on with his daughter Amber and Holly and his sister Megan. Holly believes that it was Amber's fault that her mother got sick and has been avoiding her. That's pretty much the extent of what happens with Amber in this episode. Megan at first doesn't really do much in this episode, but towards the end, Kyle's talking with Giles' wife about how they're going to say that Megan's husband killed himself to keep her from being arrested for his murder, even though she wasn't really the one who did it. But Megan's pissed off and says, no, we're not going to sully his memory with that. And that's about it on that front. So, this has some intriguing possibilities that will be popping up for the season. It's just how long it took to get to this season, I think, really is a detriment to what people are going to be looking for and just like overall general interest. I had to hunt to find what was going on. I thought this was supposed to premiere on the 15th, but it got pushed back to like last Friday. And I on-demanded it, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's pretty good. Still the same kind of quality. It's just trying to remember everything that happened previously and where we're kind of coming back to. So I think it's an effective episode to reintroduce it. I just hope that it continues on because I like the first season. It's an interesting premise of looking at a demonic possession in a town similar to an infection, kind of like The Walking Dead, since this was based off a Robert Kirkman graphic novel as well. So I really like that aspect, and I'm hoping that we get some interesting character stories and just a different kind of take on kind of demons and what it all pans out to be. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.